Speak of the devil, what did I just say right as we were going into break? Weird to me, Mike McDaniel has not interviewed yet with the Chargers, and Albert Breer is reporting the Bills will interview him today.
Let's go.
For head coach.
That is a fast turnaround.
Very fast. I swear I didn't know anything when I said that.
Wow, right.
Yeah, they're interviewing Mike McDaniel today. He'll be, and as Breer says, we all know, he'll be Harbaugh's OC if he doesn't land a head coach job. But he's pulled himself out of a lot of head coach jobs. So, again, it was weird to me. 2 days ago, it was, he's going to be the Chargers OC unless one of these head coach jobs he wants materializes. And then 2 days went by. Yesterday, Baltimore finds their coach. I thought that was the job he was waiting for, was Baltimore. And then they hire Jesse Minter. Hours go by. I figured I'd wake up this morning to, all right, he's an officially announced Charger. Still not officially announced, and this would make sense. If I were him, I would wait to see if the Bills wanted to even just talk to me. So,
yeah.
All right, they're interviewing McDaniel.
So Albert Breer reports he's interviewing with the Bills today.
I think he might be my favorite idea. And I think it's just because I have some proof of concept as a play caller.
Yeah.
And I'm on the McDaniel tree. I don't know if he really rates. You mentioned how the Dolphins players talked about him, and so it's not any different than any other coach, right? It's not any worse than any other coach when the guy exits. But when Bean sat up there a couple days ago and talked about you need a guy to also be a CEO and how are you going to face conflict and those types of things, how do they feel he rates in that department? I would hope he does because, Udinsky's interesting to me, but I've never seen him call plays. Davis Webb's interesting to me. I've never seen him call plays. Kubiak is interesting to me. I've only seen one really good year of him calling plays. McDaniel, maybe you'd say it's 2. It's not much more, but I saw that guy make Tua the NFL's leading passer.
And the other thing,
really interesting to me.
The other thing McDaniel did that the Bills might like, if this is something Bean wants, I want a run game to protect Josh Allen. All right.
The one thing he does, he snaps his fingers and he has a run game.
That's right.
Mostert had, didn't he have 20 touchdowns? He had 18 touchdowns.
McDaniel's about speed, run game. Defensively, I don't know what he's doing. And does he have someone he can bring in?
He brought in Fangio, and that didn't really work, which is incredible because it's the only place it really never worked with him. And then he brought in, was it Anthony Weaver just their defensive coordinator?
Could they bring Anthony Weaver in as their defensive coordinator? He's the hammer on the defense. If they worked together well and they liked it, and they thought, they both go to Bean and say, listen, our GM was a mess.
Would they feel weird at all about just we're just going to poach the Dolphins coaching staff, the team that we've been just dogging for 5 years? We're just going to, we're going to take their guys.
But why have you been dogging them?
Because your quarterback is amazing. Infinitely more talented than their quarterback.
So Mike McDaniel walks in that meeting, he's like, let me tell you, I've been watching your quarterback for a while, and I will take him to Valhalla. That's what they say, right? The things I will do with this player. And Josh is in on these interviews, so however these guys making an impression on him, I've got to imagine, we'll get back to some calls on the Sabres and on Mike McDaniel if you want here. I've got to imagine that Josh is calling other players, right? What does he know about Grant Udinsky? Nothing. Call Trevor Lawrence. All right, what's the story here? And Tua, I don't know how close he and Tua are, but hey, what's up? What do you got on this guy? What do you think? How was it? Former teammates. The league is going to work like this. Wow, Mike McDaniel, add him to the list. That is. I'll tell you this. I want to give the Bills a little credit here for a fully open search. McDaniel's a guy that I just thought they would not even consider and think no, we're not going to. That's not our type of guy. And just by interviewing him, they are open to it.
Yeah, right.
Because
he could impress them.
He absolutely could have said no thanks, and he signs and he's in L.A. And for him, is it money? For him, hold on. For him, he wants to be a head coach. And I don't know if this would endear him to Buffalo. He's not exactly, finger quotes, Buffalo in the way that other coaches are. He's not wearing joggers on the sidelines here. But he's lined up in L.A.
Some of those fleece line joggers.
There you go. He's lined up in Los Angeles, and he's like, I would come there. I would like to do that instead.
I mean,
does he know how cold it is outside right now?
I mean, he did once wear a hoodie that said, I wish it was colder.
That's right.
So he's putting his money where his mouth is.
I mean, I didn't even.
I don't know how different is he? I mean, like, why is he not? He's not Buffalo. What? Because he wears joggers and he might vape on the sidelines.
Right.
In the way he talks.
But that's why he's also not a leader of men in the eyes of many football fans. It's entirely an aesthetic.
Wouldn't Buffalo kind of like the things he does though? Like when he's on your side, like
I don't know,
mean mugging the fans, like in front, like that I watched when the snowball game was happening, or driving by the bar with all the away fans as you're leaving after a win, like. We hated that stuff when he was on the other side, but if he was doing that bravado kind of stuff, he just isn't muscular like Dan Campbell. So I don't know. Like I know what you mean though. He's not. He's nerd guy. He's a nerd, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And they've never really had a head coach who was a nerd.
No.
I think that kind of makes me want him more though. I want the nerd. I want the offensive play calling nerd. I want to try that out for a spin with Josh Allen.
You are not getting a dome, but you are getting an enclosed environment where the wind will be less, and sure, it might be interesting.
I was going to say, is he going to be mad he's going to a stadium that won't be as cold as the last one?
Super interesting. Larry in Florida, South Florida. Hey, Larry, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's been a bit of a buzz. I've been trying to get a hold of you guys since Monday, and it's been crazy. So watching the Sabres right now, when I watched last night, all I saw was speed and forechecking, which is unbelievable because we just haven't really had that in so long. And it just, when you guys brought up the power play, I was like, with all our speed and all our forechecking, because they are really, like Paul said, they're dogs right now.
They're fast. It is a noticeably fast team, the Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid line actually hit 3 posts, not they hit Benson 2-on-1 and Helenius coming in alone,
right?
Yanked it off the post.
Yep.
But to see that, it's quite incredible, and I can't believe the power play is not better given those two aspects. But like you said, right now they don't need it. I'd love to see it. But the reason I called, I was talking to my brother Sam the other day, and he brought up an interesting thought, and I'd love to run this by you to see what you guys think. So after that presser, we both came away with the impression that we thought Pagola was an absentee owner, really, and it's clear to both of us that he's not. And I think maybe Pagola has a little bit more involvement in roster decisions and obviously personnel decisions. And he brought up the point where, do you remember when we brought in LaFontaine and it seemed like he was there for 4 days? LaFontaine, when he came in, I was so excited because not only was he an unbelievable player, he was a team guy. And I said, okay, this guy's going to come in and strengthen this roster and strengthen the front office. And then he was gone.
Yeah.
So the question that he posed was, do you think maybe he was telling Pagula the same thing McDermott was? He doesn't agree with the roster and possibly some of the personnel decisions, and it was such a rift that he said, all right, I'm out of here. It just seems too coincidental to have these types of figures go against what the ownership is saying. So I'd love to get your thoughts if anyone's ever talked about the LaFontaine idea.
Not really. I mean, it's so long ago, and trying to guess that the situations were the same. There were plenty of people that thought LaFontaine would not be on board with a tank.
Yep.
That was just, connecting dots. I don't know if that was true. And the point about how absentee versus active he is, I think that when they first bought the team, this is because they had the Sabres first. Mm-hmm. When they first had the Sabres, they were very active, and they were, I think, a little bit nervous that people thought they were too active. Because put yourself in these shoes. You own a sports team. You want to be involved in every meeting because it's exciting. You want to know about the players. And the GM says, like, what do you think of these two players? And you might say, I like the way this guy plays. And if that ever got out, the fans might say, meddlesome, don't want this person around, let the GM do the GMing. So I feel like at the start of their ownership, this is just the Sabres, I know this a little more specifically than the Bills, they were sensitive to that idea. How do they feel about it now? I don't know. I mean, Pagula is probably less sensitive to it because when the Bills do their their behind-the-scenes draft videos, he's right there. So he's not afraid that you think he's involved or he's, inner circle. And he's part of these meetings. He's going to decide what coach he's going to pay what? $25 million to? He's going to want to know who the person is. Do I like this person? Do I get along with this person? When I approach them, will they tell me why they did what they did? Can I stand next to them on the sidelines? I think that stuff's going to be important to him. It's the reason I thought McDermott would never get fired is because I thought relationships are so important here. And McDermott gets fired, but he has another relationship in place with Bean.
Yep. I mean, though, there is more of an idea this coach would be reporting to Bean than McDermott was. So the dynamic would change maybe a little bit. So maybe that would even lead you to believe Terry would be a little bit less involved to some degree, but not all the way less involved. Like, there was a caller yesterday that wondered this. Like, is he more involved than he wants to be after Kim's health situation? Because she was very involved before. And is Bean's president of football operations title have anything to do? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the dynamics are going to be like going forward. It does feel like, though, on the baseline, that this coach is reporting to Bean far more than the last coach was.
Yeah.
That structure is different.
803-0550. I posted a Twitter poll about Mike McDaniel, and then I had to delete it and post it again because I put yay or nay, and I didn't make it clear that the Bills are interviewing him. I feel like if you ask, what do you think about Mike McDaniel, you'd get a lot of no's. And then as soon as you find that the Bills are actually interviewing him, like 10% of those no's might switch to yeses. Like, oh, all right, fine. If they do it, that's fine. You can vote in our Twitter poll. The Bills have added Mike McDaniel to the list of candidates. They will interview him today.
Very interesting.
Would you be good with him getting the job? And just as I suspected, it was 50-50 before in the old version. Now it's 80-20 yes. But it's early. I think I think that'll come down. All right, 803-0550. Got another name. Yeah. Very interesting.
I like it.
There's a little bit of anecdotal stuff about him. Is he a leader? The Dolphins were 1-6 and lost Tyreek Hill and kept playing and winning games against bad teams.
Didn't quit like the Jets did.
They did not pack it in. Right, Aaron Glenn, leader of men, that team packed it in. The Dolphins did not.
In fact, didn't they do that in back-to-back seasons? Yeah, 2024, they were 2-6. 2-6. You know what they finished? 8-9.
So they don't give up.
2025, they were 2-7. They finished 7-10. So yeah, 2 consecutive years where at the beginning, like, they were out of it, and the team did keep playing and got to a record that was bad for draft status, I guess, but respectability for the coach.
Add him to the list. 803-0550. Jeremy and Joe. Mike McDaniel, the latest candidate he'll interview today. Grant Udinski interviews tomorrow. A lot of offensive names here as the Bills continue their search to replace Sean McDermott. We'll keep you up to date on the latest here on WGR.